Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshununmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We welcome all of you for the second part of the discussion of the importance of cow and the unique contribution of cow in the human society. There is a famous verse in the scriptures which says, Atma Mata Guru Patni Brahmani Rajapatnika Dhenu Datri Tata Prithvi Saptaite Matarasmritaha. So this means, according to the Vedic conception, there are 7 mothers. Not only the mother who gave birth to us, but there are actually 7 mothers. And why it is so, we will try to understand objectively, not sentimentally. Atma Mata means the mother from whom we all take birth. Our own mothers, as we understand. Atma Mata. So she is called Atma Mata. Then uh, Guru Patni, the wife of the Guru, is also considered mother, because in the Gurukul system in the Vedic times, all children, irrespective of whether they are rich or poor, or even a king's son, will necessarily go to the ashram of the Guru for education and render menial services, all kinds of services to the Guru. And the Guru's wife, called Guru Patni, she would care for all these children as her own children. And the Guru trains all these small children in addressing his wife as mother. According to the Vedic conception, other than one's wife, every woman, be she married or not married, is to be looked upon as mother. Therefore, she is called as Mata or Mataji, meaning that we regard every woman as mother and give that position of mother and the due respect of mother to every woman. So this is Vedic idea. So Guru's wife, because she takes care of the children who come to their ashram, she is also considered mother. She cares for all the children like one's own mother. So Guru Patni. Then Brahmani means the wife of a Brahmana. Brahmana, again, not as per the caste, but actually a qualified Brahmana, an enlightened person, a very honest person, self-controlled, truthful, having full of knowledge of Shastra, very humble. Like this, Brahmana has many nice qualifications, and anybody can become a Brahmana also. So the wife of a Brahmana is called Brahmani, and she is also considered to be a mother. Brahmani, then Rajapatnika, the wife of the king, is also considered mother, because the Praja are considered to be the children of the king. The king is supposed to be the father of the entire kingdom, and naturally, the king's wife, the queen, Rajapatni, she naturally becomes the mother. So the king and the queen are supposed to be the father and mother of the entire kingdom and all their citizens. And that was the kind of relationship which was maintained during the times of monarchy. Of course, unfortunately, due to the influence of Kali Yuga, some monarchs have become greedy and exploited the position. But otherwise, monarchy was a very wonderful system. the king and the queen considered all the citizens to be like their children and cared for them in a similar manner. So therefore, Rajapatnika, the wife of the king, is also considered to be another mother. Then Dhenu means cow. Cow is also the mother of everyone because just like mother feeds you milk, particularly when you are born, it is so essential to drink mother's milk. If at all you have to grow very strong and very grow very in a very healthy way, you require to drink mother's milk at least for the first 2 years is very desirable. At least for the first 6 months to 1 year is utmost essential. Otherwise, if you don't drink mother's milk directly, you may even get rickets or weakened bones. And after that, to compensate it will be a very, very difficult job. So, mother's milk is so important. And all of us have grown by drinking mother's milk. And we have sustained our life. That first 1 year, 2 years of drinking milk has sustained our entire existence. Just imagine the importance of mother's milk. It's very important. Today, even the Western world is realizing this. Otherwise, they were giving bottled milk to the newborn babies, and that's not all good. So, mother's milk is very, very important. Mm. So, mother, how she is giving us life at the time of birth, even within the womb, and after we take birth, also she is feeding us with her milk and giving us life. So, mother is so important. Because of her, we are existing. Similarly, cow also is giving us milk. Sometimes we have seen, particularly in the Indian scenario, sometimes it so happens that some of the mothers, when they give birth to babies, they're not able to feed milk to their babies due to whatever reason. In that case, a cow's milk is recommended. So when the mother is not able to give milk to her own baby, the cow's milk is supplied to that baby in replacement of the mother's milk. You can just imagine then the cow is actually taking the position of the mother and then making the child survive, making the baby survive. So how much important is the cow? And the mother feeds for a few years, but the cow feeds for its entire life. Just imagine, mother's milk may be eating for 2 years or 2.5 years max. The cow's milk we drink for so many years. The cow delivers milk for so many years. Maybe toward the fag end of her life, she is not able to deliver milk. So cow is actually feeding us much more than our own mother. So how much important role and contribution the cow is giving to all of us. How much grateful we must be to the cow. She is feeding us with her milk, and we are so much nourished. So, Dhenu. Then Dhatri. Dhatri means nurse. I talked about cow. Sometimes when the mother is not able to feed her milk to the child, then the cow's milk is used. There's one more option, particularly again in the Vedic times. Dhatri means nurse. If the mother is not able to feed milk to the baby, then one more option apart from the cow is a nurse is also allowed to feed the baby with her milk, and in that way give food to this newborn baby. So in the Vedic times, nurses play a very vital role. They were very motherly and very affectionate, and they almost act like a family member. Just imagine somebody has to feed milk to your baby. Obviously, it cannot be a stranger. They have to have the feelings of a family member. So the nurses would play that role of the mother and feed the child and take care of the child very nicely. So Dhatri, therefore nurse is also considered another mother. Then Tatha Prithvi, Saptaite Matara Smritaha. Prithvi means earth. From the earth we are getting, earth is considered again mother, because all necessities of life is derived from the earth. We get vegetables, fruits, grains, even for constructing houses, mud, clay, all flowers, all desirables, including honey, everything is derived. And for the cow to produce milk, she only takes grass, nothing else. She only eats grass, and which is again produced by the earth. So, Sarva Kama Dugamahi, Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a very nice glorification of this earth also. It is called, it is being glorified as Sarva Kama Dugamahi. Earth is actually a Kalpavriksha, a wish fulfilling tree, because everything desirable in our life, and actually desirable is to sustain our life. All necessities of life, what we need, as I described just now, food, clothing, shelter, everything we get from the earth. Therefore, earth is naturally a mother, just like mother provides for all our necessities. Not only food, she protects us, she gives us food, she nurtures us, she gives us love, affection, she trains us. So much we benefit from the mother. Let it from the earth also we see practically we derive everything from the earth. So she's also another mother. So in this way, the Vedic conception is Saptaite Matraspitaha. These are the seven mothers. So Atma Mata, our own mother, Guru Patni, the wife of the Guru, Raja Patnika, the wife of the king, Brahmani, the wife of a Brahmana, Dhenu, a cow, Datri, a nurse, and Prithvi, the earth. These are the seven mothers, and all of them are equally important and cannot be neglected. And as we're discussing on the subject of cow, cow is another important mother. Hmm. So we cannot neglect the cow. And the cow's milk is so important, particularly when we are born and also when we are quite old. Huh? When we are even not able to eat solid food, the cow's milk comes as a replacement of food for nourishing our body and our senses. Sometimes the doctors advise that quite many old people, they can't eat solid food, but they can drink milk. So it actually sustains our life even when we're old or when we are just born. So it is so important, cow's milk. In fact, this milk is so important that you can consume any amount of milk. So nice, so nectarian it is. Particularly cow's milk, uh, indigenous cow, its milk is so nice, so tasty, so sweet. You don't even have to add sugar. It's so thick and so rich. Its fragrance also is so nice. It is said that in regard to stressing the importance of the cow, there is one nice prayer in the Vishnu Purana, which is a very famous prayer, which goes on like this: Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. It's a very famous prayer. This prayer means Krishna, who is Brahmanya Devaya, worshipped by all the Brahmanas, or Brahmana again, I mean those who are highly cultured, civilized, not exactly by caste, but actually by culture, by character. Those who are civilized, those who are advanced human beings, advanced in culture, character, they're called Brahmanas. And anybody can become a Brahmana. And the Krishna consciousness movement is offering that benefit and position to everybody. Come, get trained, and become Brahmanas, cultured, civilized human beings, and save the people, save your fellow men, save your family members. Hmm? Make people God conscious, Krishna conscious, and in that way, Become truly the well-wisher of all your friends, relatives, your family, your society. So, Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Krishna is worshipped by the best of the humans, Brahmanya Devaya. And uh, the Devatas are naturally Brahmanas or highly civilized beings. So, Krishna is worshipped by Devatas, worshipped by first class Brahmanas. That Lord, Namo Brahmanya Devaya, that Lord, Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Why he comes to this world? He has two intentions. He is concerned about the hitaya, the welfare of Go and Brahmana, the cow and the Brahmana. So Krishna is concerned about the welfare of the cows and the Brahmanas. Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. And Jagat Hitaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. And the Lord is also concerned about the Hita, the welfare of the entire universe. Not only cows and Brahmanas, but the entire universe also, which includes everything and everybody. And he is also called Govinda. One, Govinda means again one who gives pleasure to the cows and senses. Go has two meanings. One meaning is senses, our 10 senses or 11 senses. One more meaning is cow. So Govinda, Vinda means to give. So Govinda means one who gives pleasure to the cows and to our senses. Namo Namaha. So I offer my respectful obeisances to Krishna, who is known as Govinda, the master of the senses and the master of the cows, and who is also worshipped by even Devatas and even Brahmanas, and who acts always in the welfare of cows, Brahmanas, and the universe. So that is this prayer in the Vishnu Purana. Now, interesting to note, if you would have observed, in the sequence of the welfare which Krishna considers for this universe, it begins with Krishna considering the welfare of the cow first in the line, then only Brahmanas, then the universe. This is interesting to note. Krishna is concerned about the welfare of the cows first, because without cows, there is no possibility of a civilized life, cultivating and culturing a civilized life. Milk is considered a very, very sattvic product, a sattvic food, highly sattvic food. By consuming, regularly drinking cow's milk, you become very, very sober. You become very sober. And you develop, as I described earlier, finer brain tissues to understand higher subject matter. And you become very peaceful. Your violent nature is subsided. So basically, you become very pacified. You become very sattvic, very gentle. Just like the cow as an animal is very gentle. So by consuming her milk, you also become very gentle and also develop very sattvic qualities. Even if you're a rajasic and a tamasic person, by drinking regularly cow's milk, you actually become a sattvic person. Sattvic means very gentle, very mild, but very sharp, very intelligent, hmm, very accommodative, forgiving. So all these qualities will develop by drinking cow's milk. So Krishna is concerned with the cow's welfare first, because this cow delivers an important product called the milk, as we discussed earlier. And by consuming that milk, you actually develop Brahminical qualities. And for a Brahmana or a civilized man, without cow, it is very difficult to live, because civilized people eat sattvic food. Even devatas in heaven, they require cow's milk and all the products of cow for performing sacrifices. So for advanced human beings, without cow, it is very difficult to even exist, whether for their bodily existence or for their higher spiritual existence. Hmm? The bodily existence requires sattvic food, which is mainly milk and milk products, curds, cheese, butter, ghee. See, it is so important. And they're also important for preparing a lot of things, ingredients, and foodstuffs for offering in the sacrifice. Ghee is required, butter is required, and many milk preparations for offering the sacrifice. Otherwise, no sacrifice can be complete without offering nice preparations made from milk in the sacrifice. No sacrifice is complete. So therefore, for all advanced human beings, this sacrifice, which is meant for elevating our consciousness, for developing higher values, cow is very important, and even to maintain our physical existence and physical good health, strength, good memory, sharp intelligence. If you drink cow's milk, you will develop all these things very naturally without any artificial gimmicks and tablets and vitamins. Just like we have a tablet vitamins for memory, for intelligence, you don't require that. Just drink cow's milk. So, to stress this, Krishna himself cares for the importance, for the welfare of the cow, which is helping the human society in progress in their perfection of human life, which is to become fully God conscious. Therefore, Krishna is concerned about the cow. So, go hitaya cha. Then Brahmana. Brahmana means an educator, a counselor, a doctor, a friend, philosopher, guide, not an exploitative person, not a person of a particular caste, as I described. That Krishna describes in the 18th chapter in detail. You can refer to the Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter. Krishna describes about the qualities of a Brahmana. Shamo Damo Tapa Shaucham, beginning with these words. So Brahmanas, they are the guides of the human society, and they are supposed to be very of a high character. Before even guiding others, they should build their character before guiding others. So therefore, Krishna is concerned about the Brahmanas' welfare. If they are not there, then how will the society advance spiritually? Then the Lord is concerned about the universal welfare. Actually, when the cow's welfare and the Brahman's welfare is taken care, universal welfare becomes a consequence of the cows and Brahmanas' welfare. It will be automatically taken care of. So this is the importance and the meaning of these words. In the Bhagavad Gita also, we know one more point before I come to the Bhagavad Gita words. One more point is Govinda, as I stressed. Interestingly, Krishna is the one who gives pleasure to the senses and even to the cows. In fact, Krishna's name itself is called Govinda, named after a cow. Just imagine how much fond of cows Krishna was. Not because it's an animal per se, but because of its valuable contribution to the human society, to revive our lost God consciousness. So important. So it's called Govinda. Then in the Bhagavad Gita, last time I described this, Krishi Goraksha Vanijyam Vaishya Karma Swabhavajam. Krishna describes the occupation of a businessman, of one class or section of a human being. Human being can have four sections of divisions of work, and everyone's work is fitted in one of the categories, one of the divisions. Either one is doing intellectual work, or administrative work, or business, or producing economy, or labor, offering one's labor, physical labor. So one of the four things everyone is engaged in. Considering the third division, where one is engaged in increasing the economy of the family or the society or the country according to his capacity. That is the occupation of a Vaishya, technically speaking. And primary form of economy for the country and the world is actually Krishna describes in Bhagavad Gita as Krishi, Goraksha and Vanijya. Primarily two things: Krishi and Goraksha. Agriculture, Krishi, Goraksha means cow protection. And Vanijya is an offshoot of these two main businesses or occupations. Vanijya means trading, trading on agricultural products and the products derived from the cow, not by killing, but by nurturing and caring for the cow. The products which are derived by caring for the cow and the agricultural products, trading on that is Vanijya. So this is the solid basis of economy, and there will be no economic downfall ever if we depend and base our economy completely on Krishi and Goraksha. When the Lord is saying, you can just imagine what depth we should take this instruction, how much serious we should take this instruction. Not by industrial enterprises, but the economy is not dependent on industrial enterprises, rather it is dependent on agriculture and the produces from the cow. Little we'll try to understand in the course of our discussion. Therefore, if you see Lord Balarama, he has a plow in his hand, which represents Krishi, because you have to plow the field and then sow the seeds and then put the manure. So, therefore, a plow is needed for all these purposes, and Balarama is seen holding a plow, which means Lord Balarama represents Krishi, and Krishna has a stick in his hand, basically to take care of the cows. That is representing Goraksha. So Krishna and Balaram actually represent Krishi and Goraksha, and they are leading by having a plow and a stick in their respective hands to show the importance of cow protection and development of agriculture. So this is so important. Cow is considered mother and bull is considered the father. When we are born, we drink milk, and as we grow little more, we also eat food grains. All of us. So the mother at home, she gives milk and cooks food to the children, and the father arranges for the food by going out and working on the fields. Of course, today it may be a cause of surprise for you. There are so many varieties of occupations, no doubt, we don't deny. But as per the Vedic understanding, occupation means only agriculture. Evergreen occupation is agriculture. That's a fact. You may create other kinds of occupations and works temporarily, maybe for some few decades or more decades, but it cannot last long. It cannot stand the tests of time. All civilizations will come and go. All kinds of economic uh, divisions of work may work for some time, but not for a long time. What will perpetually work in producing economy, in sustainable economy, is actually agriculture and cow protection. It's actually green revolution, basically, as per the Bhagavad Gita and the Lord Himself. So it is so important. Therefore, we should think about it seriously. How to develop this agriculture and how to take care of the cows. Therefore, Krishna and Balaram represent Krishi and Goraksha. And we also see cow is so important, is so auspicious. Everything about the cow is auspicious. There's nothing inauspicious in a cow, including its cow dung and cow urine. It's not considered inauspicious. Interestingly to note, uh, the excreta of a person is considered impure, except the dung of the cow. Similarly, the urine of a person is considered very contaminated, except the urine of the cow. It's very antiseptic. It's very antiseptic. Cow dung and cow urine, they're very antiseptic. They're used to purify the place. They got strong medicinal properties. In fact, cow urine is used for many, many medicinal purposes. Many incurable diseases in the modern times can be cured by consuming cow urine in a specified manner as per the prescription of the Ayurvedic physician. There's a certain way one has to consume. Drink few drops of cow urine to become very, very healthy and build up high immunity. Build up high immunity. So cow, any product from the cow, including cow dung and cow urine, is considered very pure substance. In fact, we bathe the Lord, Abhishekam, what we technically call, with Panchagavya, which has milk, curds, ghee, and cow dung and cow urine. So in all the major Abhishekams of the Lord, Panchagavya is being used to bathe the Lord. You can just imagine how pure these substances must be. It's not impure. Even the Lord is bathed with these substances. Therefore, they are considered nectarian. And it is said, if there is any defect in a house or in a site, or if there is any kind of inauspicious presence or inauspiciousness in a certain location, you just take the cow and make it go around that plot, that site, that area, that location. When the cow goes around that area and then passes dung and urine, the entire place becomes purified. You don't require any prashchitta, homa. So wonderful this cow is, who is the descendant of the original Surabhi from the spiritual world, who is coming from Lord Krishna, from the spiritual world. So the entire place becomes auspicious. That's why we all know very commonly, at least Indians. Not that we're sentimentalist, it has got its, the cow has got such valuable contribution. That's why, because the cow is so pure, its vibrations are so pure, so positive. It's full of sattva guna. Therefore, in Griha Pravesham, we see even before anybody enters, including the Pandit who enters the house, even before the Pandit enters the house during Griha Pravesha, the cow is made to enter the house first. Why? To purify, if at all there is any inauspicity in the house, it becomes purified. And the first thing what you cook when you inaugurate a house, you boil the milk. And the milk should overflow from the pan onto the stove and purify the kitchen and the house in that way. So the first food actually you cook in your house, when you purchase a house or you rent a house or whatever, is you actually boil cow's milk and then feed everybody, isn't it? So therefore cow has taken such a inseparable position in our day-to-day life. So therefore cow is not just seen as an animal. No doubt every life is important, but still comparatively among all lives, among all animals, cow is more important because of its valuable contribution to the human society. And it is said, before becoming a human being, in the evolutionary cycle, if you're taken birth as a sattvic, gentle, civilized being, and in case that was the first human birth you have taken, then the previous life, if it would have been in an animal's body, it would have been a cow's body. Because cow is very sattvic, and in the evolutionary cycle, after the cow, there is human birth. And those who take birth as cow in the evolutionary cycle, they will next take birth as civilized human beings. Because among human beings also, there are sattvic human beings, rajasic human beings, tamasic human beings. So if you had a cow's birth, then you would have taken birth as a sattvic human being. And you can see that in one's behavior and dealings. How one is very gentle, very sober, very kind, hmm, etc. So therefore, cow is so important. And interestingly, even as per medical science, there is no food which can replace milk. There are so many nutrients present in cow's milk that in another food product, all of those nutrients are not available. Maybe you may have to have a combination of few more foods to get the benefit of all those things. But in cow's milk alone, everything is all inclusive. So that is the special uh, position of cow's milk. Now I would like to share some important uh, benefits of cow's milk, benefits of cow practically in our life. How is cow helping us in a very practical way? For example, the cow dung is the cheapest and harmless fertilizer ever available in the earth today. Cow dung is, actually speaking, not even cheap, it is actually free. It's actually free. Cow dung is free and is the best fertilizer for all agricultural producers. Therefore, in the bygone ages, people, particularly in India, used to have good number of cows. Every house would have a cow, few cows, and bulls, because you get cow dung cakes. You get cow dung, which is a free manure and the most effective and powerful manure, organic in nature, in contrast with the fertilizers which we buy, which actually makes the soil infertile. Maybe temporarily you may get very nice produces, marginally more production, but in long run, it will take a big toll on the earth, on the soil. Recently, I met two people, one from Tamil Nadu and one from Mangalore, and both of them shared this something shocking, this fact. One is from Salem, and the other one is from Mangalore. They said because of using fertilizers, both of them spoke the same point, which I'm going to share now. So they said because of using fertilizer for just few years, their soil has become completely infertile. Practically, the soil has become dead. Actually, Earth is full of minerals, full of richness, full of vitamins. It's not just dead soil. Agricultural lands, they're not just a dead soil. They're very, very rich. Imagine in a fertile land, you just put some few seeds, little water, little manure, immediately it will grow. It will give you fruits, flowers, grains, different kinds of food grains in no time, and little water. Just imagine. Even as I described, even wood you will get for making your doors. So many things the earth is producing. It is so rich, so replete with all kinds of necessities of life. So earth is actually very, very fertile. The soil is very fertile. Agricultural land, particularly in its natural state, is very, very fertile. But if we're putting these fertilizers, it becomes very infertile, very unproductive. So these two people, they were saying because we have put fertilizers for short-term benefits, the land has become so infertile that when we realized it is so late, now it took 30 years for us to bring the soil back to its natural state. 30 years. You can just imagine. But if you put cow dung and cow urine, there's no more manure required than these things. The soil will be so rich. And also, after every crop, the what you sow, maybe whatever you sow, a fruit, a flower, food, rice, dal, pulses, any food grain. So at every crop, the crop takes away the nutrients of the soil because the crop needs food, isn't it? The seed needs food to eat for it to grow. Just like you need food to grow, isn't it? Similarly, the crop also requires to eat food, and that food the soil provides. So at every crop and every harvest, the soil becomes little less fertile. So by putting the cow dung, the soil regains its original strength and nutritional value and its fertility. The soil becomes again fertile enough, and any number of times you can repeat this cycle just by putting cow dung. So cow dung is the best fertilizer, and cow urine is the best insecticide. Otherwise, today insecticides and pesticides are so costly, and they will make the land barren over and above everything. So therefore, it's not very good. Rather, by using, because people think cow dung is a total waste. What is the use of cow urine? No, because we don't know the art of using these products. We have lost that knowledge. Therefore, today there is a big awareness about organic farming. And Srila Prabhupada also encouraged a lot about organic farming, even in the early 1960s, and made a green revolution in all ISKCON temples. Many farms ISKCON is running and trying to grow things organically. There are many others, no doubt, in this world who are realizing the importance of organic manure, importance of cow dung, cow urine, importance of cow. We are very happy about that, to know that the awareness is growing far and wide. So the farmer is able to get fertilizer and insecticide, not cheap exactly, actually free practically, because every farmer will have a cow. And by having a bull, you don't require tractors. You don't require to depend on industry. The bull will do all the work of the tractor, and it will eat whatever is there in the field. The bull and the cow, there's no major expense in maintaining them, because once you have agriculture, it will just graze in the field at no cost. You can just imagine what a wonderful economic system. Absolutely zero overheads, technically speaking. So the bull will graze and till the field, and by moving up and down, it makes the soil richer and richer. But the tractor, by running its rubber tires, actually makes the soil infertile. But the bull has some special hmm, touch. Just like we say, don't eat with spoon, eat with your fingers, mix food with your fingers, and then eat the food. Put the food in your mouth with your hands, with your fingers, not with a spoon. Because the human touch has got a special, unique facility that it makes the food even richer by mixing it nicely. There are useful bacteria which goes into the food, which is useful for digestion. So it is so scientific that you to mix food with your fingers and then eat. It is more healthy. It's the healthiest practice. Similarly, when the bull moves across the agricultural field, its feet is touching the soil and makes it more rich. It has got some special properties, makes it more rich and fertile. But that benefit is not there by moving a tractor, running a tractor. On the other hand, the cost is so high, and we're made to depend on external industry, external people in this way, and it also costs so much. In fact, a farmer who was independent earlier has now become dependent. Earlier, the farmers were independent. They don't require anybody's help. They don't require any loan, any financial help from any bank. from anyone. There's nothing like farmers' loan. Rather, they can provide loan to others. They were so rich. But because of this uh, uh, wrong implementation of tractors and all these kind of things, and then going away from the natural Vedic system, today the farmers are in deep trouble for adopting artificial methods because of industrial enterprises. So therefore, cow dung and cow urine is available at no cost, and bull is so important because it keeps the tractors away. And then the cow dung cakes, they're the best fuel and the best food. The best food is received by cooking from cow dung cakes. That is first class cooking. Next is cooking from firewood. Then next is cooking from gas. Next is cooking from these ovens and electricity. That is the last and the least. Not very desirable. It's not a very high quality cooking. In fact, it's very risky. Electrical cooking is very risky, not very good for health. It's very artificial. Best is cooking with cow dung cakes. The best fuel. And it is available free. Just imagine. And today we are purchasing gas, paying money for every kg. And cow dung was available freely. Just imagine. We have become so unfortunate. We are paying money for everything, whereas everything was available freely. Just imagine. So that's the best fuel, best quality food. You can taste, you can try it out at your homes. Try cooking with cow dung cakes. You will know how tastier and healthier it is. How your health will tremendously improve by cooking with cow dung cakes. Then, after the cow dung cake is nothing but when the cow dung is dried up, it becomes a cake, and that is used as a fuel in cooking. And even in front of the houses, this cow dung is spread to avoid mosquitoes. And today we have so many kind of artificial repellents, which is very harmful for one's life. Very toxic. Very toxic. The repellents are very toxic actually. And instead of doing good, it is doing more harm to our lungs, to our breathing system. It is decreasing our immunity. On the other hand, to avoid mosquitoes, the natural solution would be to smear cow dung in front of your house, and mosquitoes will never come. I think the fragrance is so nice and so natural. You don't require this artificial fragrances, which is again toxic, again a chemical stuff. Again, it disturbs your breathing cycle. Your prana cycle is disturbed. This is so artificial. Anything you do artificial goes against nature, against your existence. You have to be in line with nature always. So cow dung has got good fragrance and it avoids mosquitoes. You can sleep very nicely. And that is another benefit. And further, one more benefit is it creates so much of employment. Earlier, by mixing cow dung and clay, they used to make houses, cottages. So much employment was created. And the roof tiles were made with clay. So much of employment was possible. But today, because of absence of cottages, all these things, employment is at big stake. Rather, we have created artificial employment opportunities, which doesn't last long. So therefore, the products of the cow also creates a good opportunity for employment. So many people can be employed in agricultural fields, in taking care of the cows, perennially, because the cow keeps on giving birth, gives birth to calves and bulls, and then they further again give birth. It's an ongoing generation after generation. It's an ongoing thing. So the The employment opportunities scope is unlimited and perennial. But any other source of economic venture would be temporary. So another important benefit of the cow is, apart from the cow dung cakes, furthermore, so cow dung, cow urine, cow dung cakes, then the ash, after you cook, that cow dung becomes ash. Even that is also useful. Even that is also useful. Um, some decades or centuries back, somehow this knowledge is all lost, unfortunately, today. This cow dung ash is so useful that it is a great preservative in preserving food grains. Many times we are always concerned how to preserve food grains. If you mix cow dung ash to rice or to jowar, it lasts for many years. For example, it is said if you mix cow dung ash to jowar, which is one of the staple food in some parts in India, then the jowar will remain good for 12 years. You can stock jowar for 12 years. And then you mix this cow dung ash with rice grains, it can last for 2 to 3 years without forming worms. So the kings of those days used to use this cow dung ash and stock or preserve these food grains, particularly in the time of drought and famine, and distribute to the people at that time. So this was another benefit. And even for cleaning utensils, this cow dung ash was used. Today we're using many soaps and many artificial liquids, which are also not good for skin. We have seen those who regularly use this artificial soap bars and liquids, they get skin infection. But nothing happens by using this cow dung ash. Best form of cleaning material, and it's very cheaply available. Actually, it is of no cost, as I told you. So in this way, there are unlimited benefits of cow and products from the cow. And I spoke only about the other aspects of the cow's products. Last time I already discussed about the importance of milk and curds. So important, and ghee. So important for one's physical health. So I would like to end. I would like to end by saying one interesting story about the glories of the cow. Once, when Lord Ganesh was born, by mistake, Lord Shiva cut off his head, and Mother Parvati lamented terribly. How can this happen? And then Shiva could not do anything. Then they were frantically searching for some solution to get back the life of their dear son. And finally, the Devatas suggested, and Ashwini Kumaras, who were supposed to be the physicians, they were called upon. And then they have someone brought back Ganesha back to life. They connected his head to his body and then brought him back to life. So, in exchange, these Ashwini Kumaras, the physicians in the heavenly planet, they requested Shiva and Parvati a small token of gift. They were very glad to give this gift. So when they were asked what was the gift they wanted, then surprisingly, they told Mother Parvati, we wanted your husband Mahadeva as our gift. She was shocked and terrified again, once again. She said, what do you mean? How can I give Mahadev to you? Again, she was perplexed. Then they approached the Devatas and then they had a discussion. And finally, they said to give a cow in exchange of Mahadeva. And finally, a cow was given in exchange of Mahadeva. And then the matter was settled amicably. And Ashwin Kumaras were very happy to receive a cow. And then they returned back. In this way, Mother Parvati became very comfortable and solaced. So the point here is, you can just imagine, Mother cow is exchanged in place of Lord Shiva. So what a glorious position cow is being given, is being recognized even in learned higher circles, even among topmost devatas. That is the position of cow, not just because it's an animal, but because of its intrinsic value which it possesses. So I would end my glorification and importance of cow to the human society. Thank you so much for your kind participation. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.